Welcome to the Chosen Podcast with Dr. Ashley. Real women, real issues, real conversations.
I'm Dr. Ashley Cham, and I am so glad you are here today. Let's get started. So today, we are talking about balance, the myth of balance, what it really means, and how do you find it? So, cut this part, obviously. Okay. So I want to start just by talking about the fact that balance is not a destination, it's a decision. Okay, I think a lot of times people talk about balance as if it is a place that we will someday get, like nirvana, right? We'll get there and then life will be amazing and then you'll never have to do anything different ever again in life. But I've talked to you about time and time again that life always throws transitions. Curveballs happen. The enemy's going to come for you. All of the things happen. And what will it do? Take your beautifully aligned and balanced life and throw it on its head. Then we got to start over. So what I want you to see is that balance in the search for and journey to balance. Let's cut that. So what I want you to see is that the search for balance in journey to balance is an ongoing saga. Like, it just doesn't end. And I think the more you accept that, the better off your life will be. It's a decision that you can make. I'm going to be balanced. I'm going to align my life with my values. I'm going to align my time with my values. I feel like I keep saying this to y'all. Somebody needs to hear this clearly because it keeps coming up in my spirit. But it's a decision. It's a decision to say yes to the things that are in alignment with your spirit. It's a decision to say no to the things that aren't. It is no longer acceptable to say yes to things just because someone wants you to. It is no longer acceptable to say yes to things that you really don't want to say yes to. You just don't want to say no. It's an easy word to get out your mouth. No. You can say it nice. No, thank you. No, I don't want to do that. No apologies. Just no. Okay? So, balance is a decision. And I said this before. When you say no to yourself, when you say no to things that are in alignment with your values, you are also saying no to yourself. You're saying no to your purpose, which means you're saying no to your creator. I also want to call out this pressure that I think women often feel to do it all, and do it all excellently. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I try my best in every aspect of my life, but there are seasons where I am required to push harder in different areas, and some areas kind of have to fall back. So, for example, in the fall of 2025, my essential oil team was competing in a competition/program called Diamond Club. During that 3-month period, the goal was, the point of the thing is to build your business, go hard and as hard as you can, and build your business as fast as you can, right? So I knew that during that 3-month period, I was going to be doing more classes, I was going to be contacting more people, I was going to have to do some traveling here or there. So I said, husband, hey, I want to talk to you about this Diamond Club thing. These things are going to be going on. So I'm going to need some grace and some things around the house. Now, my husband likes things in order. I'm not an order girl all the time, y'all. I can live in organized chaos, and then at some point, I'll get sick of it and be like, oh, I'm cleaning it up. But I've had to change and elevate in that area, guys, because he's not having it. So I had to have this conversation to say, hey, I need you on board. This is what I'm going to be doing. This is what it might look like for this amount of time. So that was a season where I had to push really hard on my business and kind of scale back a little bit on things at home and other things in general, saying no to some things, maybe some hangout time with the girls and such, because I had this goal that was really fluid and it was happening like right now. So that's just an example. But what I'm bringing that up just to say that sometimes life or different parts of your purpose are pulling on you. It's a season to run. Sometimes there's seasons of rest, sometimes there's seasons of push, right? So what I'm saying to you is that you have to be, this thought of balance has to be fluid, right? It cannot be static, because then that's when you'll get stressed out, because you're trying to live this life that you were living 3 months ago, but your requirements have transitioned, okay? So do you think it's a myth that you can have it all? You guys tell me in the chat. I want to hear about it, what your thoughts are. I think you can, but I think it's going to require some significant boundaries, which is going to be another episode coming soon. Oh, I got too ahead of myself. Y'all know I'm supposed to start with my oil. Today, the oil of the day is balance, because we're talking about balance, correct? So let me get some of that so I can act like I have some sense in this episode and make sure we talk about all the things we are supposed to talk about. Balance is one of my favorites, y'all. It smells so good. I like to use this in the morning, bottoms of my feet during my meditation, just to help me start my day grounded and not be so all over the place, right? So the culture, our culture has told us a big old fat lie. And I've mentioned this before, but I think guys kind of haze each other too on social media, intentionally, unintentionally, I don't know, but women really do it. And I think we do it and we internalize the things that we see. So I know it's so tempting to post only those perfect staged and, planned photos over the ones where you kind of look a hot mess and you got your hair in your wrap and maybe you haven't brushed your teeth. I don't know. But what I'm telling you is that sometimes what we see on social media is a Pinterest version of balance, when more in reality, it's like you're wearing 7 different hats at the same time. You're trying to manage your kid's fundraiser and film your podcast and deal with your end of the month work. And you're doing all of these things at one time, trying to show up your best in all these different areas of your life. So the hustle culture is also another thing I think that makes us stay out of balance, because hustle culture, why can't I say that? Because the hustle culture makes you think you have to work. But my dear mommy, Miss Denise, told me one time, you are a human being, not a human doing. Moment of silence. Let that sit with you for a second. A human being, not a human doing, which means you were not created to do, you were created to be. So yes, grind, get your work done, but also create space for your humanity. Create space for you to just have, for your mental health. Create space for you to just be in alignment with who you're supposed to be present for your family, all of the things, right? We cannot do all the time. If you want to go to like the hormone level, which y'all know I love to do, that chronic stress, it really wreaks havoc on your body. It causes so many issues. When women say, oh, I can't lose weight in my abdominal region, it's because you're stressed. My cycles are horrible. You're stressed. Hot flashes, night sweats, happening like crazy. My quality of life is terrible. You are chronically stressed. And it's not going to just get fixed because you get on medicine or whatever you do. If you don't fix those lifestyle things, if you don't find balance, your body's going to crash at some point, and then you're going to have to recalibrate anyway. So do it on your own. I always say that your body whispers before it screams. Listen to the whispers so it doesn't have to scream. Okay? Off my soapbox on that. Mom guilt. For you moms out there, I feel you. I work really hard and I travel sometimes for my business, and I realize every time I travel, someone says, where are the boys? They don't be asking the male counterparts that. I feel like that's a question that primarily is asked for women. And because of that, we have kind of ingrained in our heads that we are supposed to fully sacrifice who we are and what we're called to do in order to show up as mom. But I say to that, no more. Yes, you can be an excellent mother and a businesswoman and be in your purpose, like all at the same time. Because here's what I think. When I show my boys how hard mommy's working to chase after this goal, it shows them that they can do the same thing one day. It also hopefully shows them that that's the type of woman they should go after when they're growing up, right? Someone that knows what they're supposed to be doing with their life, someone that's actively chasing that, someone that's not afraid to jump out there and do something that makes them uncomfortable. So I say to that, you're teaching your children how to work hard, how to show up in their career, because if you stayed home all day looking at their faces, what are you gonna do when they leave? I had a conversation with my cousin, LaShonda, shout out, Shonda, about how the world, especially in the US, is not designed for women to have it all easily. You think it feels like you have to choose. Do you want to be boss babe, or do you want to be a great mom? And then the world kind of guilts you when you pursue your purpose outside of the home. But I say that we have to let that go. Like, we're in 2026, we are no longer letting the opinions, thoughts, beliefs of other people impact what we were called to do, okay? It's over. Balance is fluid, like I said, balance is seasonal, and balance is imperfect. I've already talked about, some seasons get heavy in different areas. Also, guys, I just got married, locked in on family, heavy right now, right? Had to transition my career to ensure that I could be fully present. And guess what? Was totally worth it. Work is a building season, building these like businesses and trying to get them off the ground, because long term, my kids are track stars, y'all. I'm trying to be out in these stands, not worried about being on someone's 9 to 5. But that requires a heavy season of work right now. Sometimes we're in seasons of healing, and the balance is restored only when you do the deep work to heal your wounds. So then you're not bleeding on someone else, right? And then making sure that you have seasons of rest after a big push. So I know my first quarter of 2026 is going to be a grind, and that's okay. But that second quarter, we're gonna build in some extra rest. Even now, I'm doing like once a month, going to float, so I can have some sensory deprivation for 90 minutes a month, and that's cool for now. But on the other side of this pushing season, I'm going to need rest. So what I want you to know is balance looks different for everybody. So we have to stop comparing. We don't know which season people are in. Y'all would have known, then maybe you would have assumed that I'm in a grind season because you're seeing these like announcements and stuff pop up, but you didn't know what my healing season looked like and when it ended. You didn't know when my family season or whatever, my rest season, because most of those things aren't announced to the public. So understand that what we're seeing on social media are snapshots, and we don't even know if that's what their current state of their real life is. They can be pictures from years ago, who knows? So I want you to ask yourself, this is a homework. All right, I'm sorry giving you homework every day, but what drains me? I want you to ask yourself that. What makes you feel like just you need to collapse onto the floor when it's done? What fuels you? And what is non-negotiable? I think I've told you guys before on my calendar what's non-negotiable in terms of when I will work and answer the phone and when I won't. You have to get really clear about those things right now, because otherwise it's gonna make for a really long year. Even Jesus rested. Even God rested. God did this incredible world in 6 days, and on day 7, what happened? He rested. So why won't you? If rest is okay for the creator of our universe, why won't you go sit down? I'm saying this to myself, by the way, not just to you guys. So create some boundaries. I already said, when will you work? When will you rest? When will you practice self-care? That has to be scheduled on your calendar and protected. You cannot keep letting random things come in. Oh, my daughter needed, so I'm not, no. You have to show up as your best, and you can't show up at your best if you are not practicing good, consistent self-care. When will you exercise? When will you have prayer and meditation time? I want you guys to stop waking up, hitting that snooze 6 times, and then waking up running out of the bed, and then you finish your day out of breath because you just never stopped running. Wake up a little early. Give yourself 15, 20. I need an hour before my children wake up, so I can have my prayer time, my meditation time, some time to read in silence. Okay? So create some time for yourself. It's so important. Think about when you'll spend time with your partner or your spouse. That's important. Put it on your calendar. When will you have time with the children? That's important. Put it on the calendar. You know, we travel like with track meets often, especially in the summertime. So we may not get to do a traditional vacation because we're at Cincinnati for a track meet. We're in Alabama. We're here, there, and everywhere. So we'll try to think, okay, we're going to Cincinnati. Let's go to the aquarium after the meet's over, and then the kids can have some relaxed fun time, and we can have some fun time with them too. So be intentional about creating time for the people that matter to you. And then when will you have time for you? Some moments that maybe you do an escape. My girl Toya husband will get her a room at the hotel. She can have a quiet weekend in a very nice, plush hotel. How beautiful. I used to not appreciate that until I became a mom with kids that are very active and such. Now I'm like, take me away. So yeah, I just want you to set boundaries, because once you get these boundaries locked in place and you enforce them, you will blow your own mind at how much better your life feels. You will be more productive because you're not draining yourself all day long. You're doing hard work in pockets of time, and then you have time to breathe, relax, and love on the people that matter most to you. So, moral of the story here, balance equals alignment, kind of, right? But because there's always transition and things are going to change. So create balance in the space you're in, but don't be so married to the way your balance looks that you're not willing to shift it when life shifts and transitions, okay? Peace over performance. We have to focus on that mindset. If you're living in turmoil in your mind, you will never be free. No matter how much money you make, no matter how successful you look on paper, you will not be free. Create a life that provides you peace of mind, y'all. It is the best thing I ever did in my life. And progress over perfection. Okay, it's not about perfection. Again, none of us are perfect. Our schedules and calendars are never going to be perfect. Do the best you can. Create the boundaries that allow you that freedom, that peace of mind, the rest, and the grind. You can do that. So, in closing today, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to release one unrealistic expectation this week. One, just one. And if you don't have any expectations, that's probably why you're stressed. So if you don't have those, I want you to create some expectations for your year, for your month, and then, bullet that out so you can handle it and work away at that in bite-sized pieces, okay? You can do this. Balance is not impossible. It is just very intentional. So if you make that decision with me today, I want you to drop "I made the decision" in the chat, okay? Here is your reminder: being bold is brave, but staying balanced is powerful. And no matter what is going on in your life, know that you are blessed. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you next time.